ULTRAKILL's world takes place in a world similar to ours, except one thing is very different: World War I. Instead of World War I ending in 1918, it ended up going on for like a couple centuries. During this time, humanity creates a bunch of futuristic weaponry, most importantly, the war machine. The war machine could do everything a soldier did without the inconveniences of being a human, with the only caveat being that the war machines required blood for fuel. Blood is fuel. War machines were actually so useful that they ended up replacing all human soldiers, turning the final war into countries throwing war machines at each other in the battlefield. Although people were no longer dying in the war, they were still suffering back at home since almost all resources were being used for the war, turning the world into a complete dystopia. Fast forward a bit and a new awesome war machine is created that completely destroys the battlefield: the Earth Mover. No other war machine could come close to the capabilities of the Earth Mover, and so it began to dominate the battlefield. A couple of engineers began to construct a new war machine that could destroy the Earth Mover. This war machine was named V1, a small but incredibly agile machine whose purpose was to infiltrate the Earth Mover and destroy it from the inside out. It also boasted blood-soaking armor plating that allowed it to refuel blood upon contact with it, something no other machine had. Unfortunately, the V model was only ever a prototype, and never mass-produced because the world was all like, "Oh my god, what are we doing?" and quickly established the New Peace, a global movement that aimed to stop all violence on Earth. The final war ended, and humanity began to repurpose war machines for this new era. Sometime during the New Peace, humanity discovers the entrance to Hell and begins expeditions into the layers, creating elevators that travel layer to layer. Now this section is where ULTRAKILL's lore becomes a bit vague, and a lot of what I'm going to talk about is theories, so stick with me. During the New Peace, God ends up getting upset by something humanity did. It's not clear yet what made him upset, but some speculate that it was due to humanity discovering the entrance to Hell and exploring the layers of Hell, or it was due to all the bloodshed from the final war, or perhaps something that has yet to be shown in-game. But just know that God is really unhappy with humanity. What follows is the complete eradication of humanity, which was most certainly caused by the same machines that humanity built for the war and repurposed for the New Peace. Since these robots relied on blood to be fueled, a huge problem was present during the New Peace. There was not enough blood for machines due to the banning of violence. One by one, these war machines died, running out of fuel, and eventually they began to kill humans for fuel. It is uncertain if these machines had killed humanity for the sake of their own survival, or if God influenced these machines to kill all of humanity as a punishment for what they did to upset him. But regardless, humanity is now dead. Now with their source of blood being extinct, the machines had to find a new source of blood, to which they stumbled across the entrance of Hell that humanity found, and machines started invading Hell for fuel, and this is where the game begins, with V1 approaching the entrance of Hell. Prelude takes place in a facility deep underground where humanity first found the entrance to Hell and built elevators to travel between the layers of Hell. We see that V1 is late to the party, as he only encounters one machine during his journey to the entrance of Hell. V1 also encounters husks and demons who escaped Hell and entered the facility. What is a husk, you may ask? It is a physical embodiment of a human's power and remembrance after death. Eventually, V1 finds the door to Hell and has an encounter with two Cerberus that guard the door. He defeats them promptly because he is the main character, and proceeds to enter Hell. Our story has now moved from the surface world into the underworld. Before I talk about V1's rampage through Hell, I first want to explain the context of what you, V1, see in Hell. If you don't know already, ULTRAKILL's Hell is a parody of the Hell scene in Dante's Inferno, or in other words, the 9 layers of Hell. After humanity died, God decided to abandon creation, which left heaven and hell in complete chaos. Due to the eradication of humanity, a giant influx of human souls flooded Hell, causing Hell to be full. Heaven, in an act of desperation, called back as many angels as they could from Hell to regroup in heaven and try to find solutions to the disappearance of God. That meant that the sinners of Hell were now unsupervised, and two guys had a cool idea. Meet Minos, a judge of Hell. This guy would send sinners to a layer of Hell depending on what their sins were. However, he had one issue: lust. The idea of sending people to an eternal punishment because of love was something he wasn't cool with. And once God had disappeared and the angels departed from Hell, him and a bunch of sinners decided to turn the lust layer into a safe haven. The civilization of the lust layer was created, and a lust renaissance was born, a peaceful revolution. Due to Minos leading the people to create the city of lust, he was crowned king. Unfortunately for him, heaven had reorganized and created a council of angels who acted in the place of God. And when they saw what Minos had done, they were rather furious. They sent an upcoming angel named Gabriel to negotiate with Minos. No. And by negotiate, I meant kill Minos and massacre the people of lust. Minos' dead body grew into a giant husk. The reason why it grew so massive was because of his will and remembrance. At the same time, his soul began to form into a prime soul. A prime soul is a rare occurrence where a person's soul gathers so much will that it does not require a husk and can manifest on its own. Heaven saw this and immediately shot their pants and imprisoned his soul in a flesh prison inside of his body. His dead body would later become infested with parasites who controlled his body and destroyed the city Minos worked so hard to build.